What if the most brilliant mind you ever encountered was living on the streets? Imagine walking through Central Park, passing by worn blankets and broken dreams, when a man with nothing but a battered chessboard begins to reveal a genius that rivals history's greatest players. He doesn't wear a crown, nor does he live in luxury, but every move he makes challenges everything you thought you knew about success, intelligence, and dignity. This isn't just a game of chess. It's a battle against stereotypes. Central Park has always been a stage for contrasts. Joggers with wireless headphones race past benches where the forgotten rest. Wealthy tourists snap pictures against a skyline of opportunity, while those who've been abandoned by that very promise watch from the shadows. It was here that people began to notice him. A thin, bearded man in his late 50s, his coat frayed at the edges, his shoes mismatched and worn. To most passersby, he looked like another homeless figure fading into the background. But beside him, on a weathered wooden bench, sat a chessboard unlike any other. Its edges were chipped, some pieces mismatched from different sets, yet when he placed them, they seemed alive, ready for war. Children would sometimes stop, curious, tugging on their parents' hands. Adults would steal glances, but rarely linger. After all, who expected brilliance to live inside a man with dirt on his sleeves? But occasionally, curiosity won over prejudice, and someone sat across from him. That's when the spectacle began. He played with a calm ferocity, eyes darting between the board and his opponent like a predator circling prey. Within minutes, pieces fell, bishops trapped, queens cornered, pawns transformed into weapons. The man who looked like he had nothing was suddenly a master of everything before him. Locals whispered rumors. Some said he once competed in international tournaments. Others swore he trained prodigies who went on to fame. But no one knew for sure. All they knew was that this man, known only as the chess master of Central Park, carried an untold story, one waiting to collide with someone powerful enough to change it. On a crisp autumn afternoon, with golden leaves carpeting the pathways, a sleek black car pulled up near the park entrance. From it stepped a man whose presence commanded attention, a Wall Street millionaire known more for his arrogance than his charity. He wore a tailored navy suit, gold cufflinks glinting in the sunlight, and an expression that spoke of a life untouched by hardship. His name was Richard Ellison, and he thrived on challenges that confirmed his superiority. Richard had heard rumors of the homeless chess player through whispers among colleagues. They dismissed it as urban folklore, but Richard was intrigued. A man of wealth and power couldn't resist the temptation of crushing a legend. To him, it wasn't just about chess. It was about proving that success was measured in money, not intellect. He approached the bench, ignoring the stares of onlookers. The homeless man sat quietly, hands folded, eyes half closed as though in meditation. When Richard cleared his throat, the man opened his eyes, calm, unshaken. Without a word, he gestured toward the empty seat. A small crowd began to form, sensing something extraordinary. Joggers paused their calls, tourists slowed their walks, even joggers stopped to watch. The millionaire sat down, his polished shoes shining against the cracked pavement. He reached into his coat and pulled out a thick roll of bills, placing it on the board's edge. "If you win," he smirked, "you take it. If I win, you admit you're nothing more than a street hustler." The master didn't respond with words, only with a steady gaze and the movement of a pawn. From the very first moves, Richard attacked aggressively, confident his strategy would overwhelm. But the master countered with elegance, trapping him slowly, invisibly. Each piece sacrificed was a calculated lesson, each retreat a hidden advance. Richard's face tightened with frustration. He was used to dominance, not resistance. Minutes stretched into nearly an hour. The tension thickened as the millionaire's arrogance unraveled, replaced by disbelief. The homeless man, unmoved by pressure, played with a quiet intensity, his hands steady despite the chill of the air. Finally, with one devastating move, the millionaire's king was cornered. Checkmate. The crowd erupted, not in cheers, but in stunned silence that quickly turned into applause. Phones came out, videos recorded, whispers filled the air. A millionaire beaten by a homeless man? Richard sat frozen, humiliated. He pushed back from the bench, his pride bleeding into anger. He snatched his money from the board, muttering curses, and stormed away. The crowd booed, their sympathy not for him, but for the man society had overlooked. But the story was far from over. The videos spread online like wildfire. Within days, headlines buzzed. Homeless chess master destroys millionaire in Central Park showdown. Clips flooded social media, sparking debates about privilege, talent, and wasted potential. Reporters swarmed the park, cameras flashing, trying to uncover the mystery of the man on the bench. For days, he remained silent, playing chess as if nothing had changed. To him, it wasn't about fame. It was about the purity of the game. But the world demanded answers. Investigations revealed fragments of his past. His name was Samuel Jefferson, once a rising star in the U.S. chess circuit during the 1980s. He had represented his country abroad, defeating renowned players. But life took a cruel turn. His wife passed away from illness, and in his grief, he spiraled into depression. Addiction followed, and soon everything collapsed. His career, his finances, his home. But even when stripped of else, Samuel never lost his gift. Chess remained his anchor, the only constant in a world that abandoned him. The millionaire, meanwhile, faced ridicule. His arrogance was immortalized in viral clips, while Samuel became a symbol of hidden genius buried beneath society's prejudices. The image of a man in a tailored suit being humbled by someone with nothing became a rallying cry. And then came the moment no one expected. A prestigious chess foundation reached out, offering Samuel a chance not just to play again, but to teach, mentor, and reclaim dignity. Months later, the bench in Central Park still carried Samuel's presence, but now it was different. Children gathered eagerly, not just to watch, but to learn. College students sat cross-legged at his feet, notebooks in hand. Tourists snapped photos, not of his poverty, but of his brilliance. With support from the foundation, Samuel transitioned into a modest apartment and a new role as a coach. His story became a lesson shared in classrooms, podcasts, and documentaries. Greatness does not always wear a crown, and genius does not always live in penthouses. As for Richard Allison, the millionaire, his reputation never fully recovered. He tried to erase the humiliation, but the internet never forgets.